secret of the Shema is in the two large letters of the Ayin and the Dalet. These large letters are in the first word and the last word. And when taken out of these words, they spell the word Ed, witness. They also spell the word Ad, means until. If you take the word Ad with the vowel underneath, you get a 6 for that vowel, the vav, the comets. No, it's a petach. For the petach. And so that with the 74, that gives you 80. 80 is yesod. And if you do witness, you get 2 dots down there. That's 20. And 20 could be for the Ayin and the Dalet, that's 74, and 20, that's 94. And if you get the full values of this in the first word, the petach is evolved there, which is 12. So 12 with 76, with 74 is 86. So we have both Yesod and Yud-Kei and Elohim there. And if you put the 2 dots as 20 and as not 20, but 20 and 20 is 40. 40 plus 74 is 114. So analyze some of the things with this, and we'll do some of the gematria with that. But what's the source of all this? The source of all this, and the source of the idea of 2 witnesses, comes from the concept of the large letter bet that starts off Bereshit. There's a similarity and a familiarity, a family of analysis through large letters. And the Shema is the real secret of our prayers. Just like the word Bereshit is the secret of our Torah. And it's brought down by the large letter bet. The large letters are in the Bria world, the creating world, the creation world. This large letter bet shows us that we're in the Bria world. And there's a philosophical thing that there's an aleph before the bet. This aleph before the bet is the Etziliot world. Isn't there a strange parallel that when you do the Shema, you hold your hand in a aleph before the saying the Shema? Why? Because the Shema comes from Shema, which is the Bria world, the ear, the absorption. Shema doesn't really mean hear, it means absorption. And what do you absorb in the Bria world and in the Shema? You absorb the aleph of the Etziliut world. Because that's where the Sephirots are. in the Etziliot world. So what do you do in Bria world when you're doing creation, so to speak? You're absorbing. This same thing happens in the Bet, which stands for Berea, of Bereshit. And what do we do when we have Bereshit? We split it up as it's, there are 70 versions of Bereshit, but we split it up, especially in, say, like the Zohar, it says, Bereshit created 6. And so this 6 that's created, you see, are the 6 words of the Shema. Because in the concept of Bereshit, in the first line of Bereshit, there are 7 words. There are 6 created words in the Shema, but the real concept is 7, because that 7th is beyond creation. In a certain sense, the 7th is the Shivishi in Bereshit, but this is another story. The Shabbat is beyond creation and comes from the Etziliot world, which is the Aleph. So there's an Aleph before the Bereshit. And that's everybody always says, well, why does the Torah start with a Bet? Because the Bet is the Bria world, but there's an Aleph before it. And that's the Aleph that one holds on their hand, in front of their hand in the Shema. Because our entire prayers, the Torah portion of the prayers is the Shema. Theoretically, the higher portion is the 18 blessings, which are 19. But the created portion is the Shema. And so this is how we get to be 2 witnesses. And this is how I tied it in, because we have aid, witness. But why should there be 2 witnesses? Because it's tied into the Shema and the large letter Bet in the Shema. And the other idea of it, of course, is the word ad, which means until. And a lot of the analysis of Sanhedrin and things like this is that please include until, because does until mean the start of the thing, or does until mean the end of the thing? See? When they say about Hanukkah as being the 3rd seal from Rosh Hashanah, that you have until Hanukkah to make amends to everything for Rosh Hashanah, for the new year. And does that ad mean until the beginning of Hanukkah? Or does it mean until the end of Hanukkah? And Hanukkah is the perfect example for me for this, because Hanukkah starts with the letter Het. And this Het for me is how I actually discovered this. Because the Het for me is the Het of the word Echad at the end of the Shema. Remember, if we take the large letters away in the Shema, we have Shem and we have Ach, brother, so to speak. But in the letter Het, how is the Het written? Everybody always, duh. No, it's written with a Vav on the right and a Zayin on the left. And that little squiggle top to bring it up. The Vav on the right and the Zion on the left, on the top. That means that there's Vav Zion, a 6 and a 7, within the 8 of the Het. Well, the 6 of the Vav is the Shema, and the Zion of the Vav, the 6 of the Vav is the Shema. The 7 of the Zion are the 7 words of Bereshit. Bereshit bara Elohim et Hashamin ve'et ha'oretz. 7 there that come from the letter Bet. The large letter Bet. And there are 6 words in the Shema that come from the large letter ensemble there. So we're bringing in this Bereshit to the Shema to make it one, make it Ehad. And we get 13 letters in the 2. Which is the word Ehad itself. It's also the letter Vav spelt with an Aleph in between. This also comes from this Aleph that's the Aleph in between is the Aleph that's put in front of the Shema. And so now let's do some gematria of Bet and which is from this is all spontaneous here. I didn't write it down yet. Bet, and then Ayin and Dalet. These 3 words. So 3 letters. These are the 3 large letters. So let's do some gematria there. Bet is 2. Ayin is 70. Dalet is 4. That's 76. So 76. We'll see what that means. Let's do a full gematria. Bet is 200 and Bet we're going to not do the, we're going to do it 2 times. See, it's 2 times. See, okay, it's not that it's 76. That's one way to look at it, but 2 times odd, because there's this Ayin Dalet. There's 2 witnesses. That's the Bet gives the 2 witnesses. Also, the Bet gives 2 times for odd. For 2 times, it's either the start of the thing or the finish of the thing. That's the 2 times. It also comes from Bereshit. So let's do the gematria of Ayin Dalet. Ayin is 130, and Dalet is 434. That's 568. We're going to do that 2 times. That's 1,000, and then 68 is 136. So it's 1,136. And go from there to analysis. The idea is it's simple gematria of 2 times Ayin Dalet. See, this is my real time. I didn't write this down yet. I thought it'd be closer to the Shema, 2 times Ayin Dalet. There are 2 kinds of Ayin Dalet. There's 2 kinds of witnesses. There's 2 kinds of 2 witnesses. There's 2 kinds of time. And this is how I wanted it to begin with. There's 2 kinds of time. There's the start of the end and the end of the end. See? So even in the coming of Mashiach, you see, until Hanukkah. Is it till Hanukkah or at the end of Hanukkah? There's 2 times there. There's the first days of the Mashiach and then the last days of the Mashiach. What's going to happen in the beginning of this Olam Haba and the resurrection of the dead at the end. And so this in between these 2 times is what I call the in-between. So my Hiddush here is the association of the large letters Aleph and Ayin Dalet. And this is a real-time rant on this before I even write it down here, because I just got it in the middle of the night. But I decided before I do it in the words, do it in the verbal, and then we'll write it down. And so this is more, to tell you the truth, of an art form that I'm doing here now. And it's the association with the letter Het, by the way, of the Echad in the Shema. And it's the bringing in of the letter Bet into the large letter Bet that starts a Torah into the analysis of the Shema. And that the Shema are the 6 words that were created. You see? And they have a parallel here with Bereshit. And this parallel comes from the large letters. And the entire analysis of the Sanhedrin tractate has to come from the analysis of including the Bet with the Ayin Dalet. So they're showing you, they're giving it to you by giving it to you in large letters.